Hi there and welcome. My name is Simon and I'm from the Red Lion Den, and today I wanted to take you through a piece of software called TheBrain, formerly called Personal Brain, and give you a brief demo on how I structure and use it as my GTD trusted system. First off, what we're looking at here is the interface of the brain, and the main central area we can see here is called the plex. This houses all the thoughts and the structure of our brain. To the left hand side of the plex over here we have a notes section. To the bottom of that I have my tag section here, and to the bottom right hand side I have a section which will tell me some information about the current thought. All these sections that are situated around the plex are movable, draggable, resizable, so you can really configure this interface any particular way you like. Okay, so let's get into and have a look at the structure, or how I have this the brain set up here as my GTD system. First area I've got here is the horizons of focus, which you can see is the central thought right here, and then obviously below that I have the horizons of focus as per the GTD system. So my current projects, 20,000 feet areas of focus and responsibility, 30,000 feet, 40, 50, the runway, and of course the someday maybe. Second main section of the brain here for GTD is the general reference filing. If I just click on that, we'll see that, and basically I have this structured just as an A to Z list of thoughts, and I'll give you a demonstration on how this might work as we get through to it. Another area I have here in the personal brain, just for quick capture on the go, is my inbox. So this works as my digital inbox, so to speak. One area which is useful, and I have across the top of the plex here, are some thoughts that I can quickly get to, where it doesn't matter where I am in the brain. If I just click on these, that will take me to them. These are pins or shortcuts to thoughts throughout the brain. What we have down the bottom of the plex here is this is basically the history of the thoughts that I've been clicking on as I go. So this will show the path I've taken to get where I am in the brain. Just to the left of that, this little white box here, the search box, a very powerful tool of personal brain, or of the brain, and not to be overlooked. Absolutely one of the most important ways of navigating and finding things through the brain. Okay, so let's take a first look at the horizons of focus. The first area I'll take you to is the 10,000 feet section. So if we go in here, this is where I use and keep track of my current projects. As you can see, I've got 4 in there. 3 are coloured green and 1 is coloured white. What is great about the personal brain or the brain software is that it allows the differentiation of thoughts by either using tags and or using thought types. So what I've done with these current project thoughts, I've thought typed them as projects active and involved. So if I right click on this first project here and I go to thought types, you can see that it's selected as a project. I'll show you how I can turn one of those into a project later. So the structure I use within this project is firstly the purpose and principles of the project, the vision, the outcome and the goals, project data. I have an area for emails, actions, and lessons and lessons learned when finishing up a project. So let's take a look, for example, under project data. If I click on that, I can have what I will bring in here is anything that might be files, data files, Excel spreadsheets, mind maps, presentations associated with this particular project. So this would be what you might actually call the project support files, so to speak. they would be linked in here under project data. And if I click on this one here, new product idea, this actually has attached to it a mind map. And it is in fact actually, I've just got the natural planning model mind mapped in there as an example. So if I clicked on that file just here, that would launch that mind map, and then I could see that, work on it, save it, close that back, and then I'm back to my brain. Mind maps that I do actually have in Personal Brain, I have thought typed as mind maps, and I'll show you how that can be handy later on. So if we just go back up the tree, here's my project data, there's the project heading. I can get into the actions quickly from here. What I have in terms of the next action for this particular project, which is develop new product pipeline for the next couple of years, is brainstorm new product ideas. I actually have this one thought typed as a strategic next action, so that's thought typed there. And I actually also have it tagged as something I want to do this week. Okay, back up to my current projects. So again, there's two others that are here with their associated structure underneath: project data, data support files, project support files, and actions, next actions. Obviously tagged if and the tags, which I will get into, can relate to various contexts predominantly. That's how I use them. Okay, so if I have something come across my desk through email or phone call, or just something that an input that comes into me and my system that I need to turn into a project, I can. Here's one we've got here. So, for example, team building workshop for this year. I've got the heading. I need to add the structure below that. So, if I do Command arrow down, I actually have a text expander snippet which will give me that structure. So #pt. Here's my structure. It can be that quick, and then I can thought type this heading as to a project, and then now I'm ready to start adding actions, or I'm actually ready to start linking in project support files here, or if it came in through an email, I can quickly drag the email into here that might be relevant. So for example, because this is obviously sitting alongside my Outlook, for example, or Apple Mail, I can quickly drag emails into here. So that structure there for projects gives me a way to keep it all the same and very easy to create new projects. As example, Command arrow down, new project, click on that, Command arrow down, structure, thought type, and I'm ready to go. Okay, the next level up on the horizons of focus that I'm using here in the brain for GTD is the 20,000 foot areas of focus and responsibility. Again, these I've thought typed so that they stand out and they're visually different. That's what I like about this system, that it's the way you can make it so visually interactive. So these are thought typed as area of focus and responsibility. It makes sense, that's just what I've called it, so that they look there. And you may have noticed that the projects I have in my brain also link to an area of focus and responsibility. So they obviously have a parent called current projects, but they also link back up through to their area of responsibility and focus. Okay, so again, that 20,000 feet area of focus and responsibility is a way I can capture my main areas and the things that I'm responsible for, and predominantly use them as a reference to ensure that the projects that I'm working on and those sorts of things actually relate and are meaningful, and serve the purpose of what my role and what my areas of responsibility are. So that's how I use those sections there. Now, you've noticed some tags throughout the brain on different thoughts that I've got here, and this is my tag section down here to the bottom left. I'm using this one on a day-to-day basis in terms of predominantly my contexts. So, for example, if I my boss is in the office this week, I have a number of things to catch up with him on, and I want to see them all in front of me. They may particularly not be all under one project or in one particular area of the brain. So the tag allows me to pull that all together, and I can see what I have to sort out with the boss at that particular time. So we go back to our current projects just there. So again, I have people, I have other contexts, so areas where I could be offline, calls that I need to make, I can see that. Now here's a call here, I need to call John Smith regarding a site visit. It's a strategic next action because it's been thought typed like that. That's great, and I can see this call, but if I want to see quickly now how it plays into context within the particular project or what part of the project that is, if I just click on that thought, I'm now taken back into its structure, and I can quickly now get to all the different areas of that project. And again, to the left over here in the notes section for the project heading, I tend to keep a running log of brief updates of the status of the project, just so I can get an overview when I'm clicking through my different projects. Another thing I use the tags for is meeting context. So if there's things that I need to bring up at particular meetings or projects to talk about at the various meetings relevant to the people that might be there or the group that deals with those sorts of things, I have those down here as well. So here's one to take up, for example, at the next marketing meeting, and that's hire a new marketing assistant. So that could just be a matter of, for example, giving the team an update on how that is going, or providing leadership, for example, with an update on how that project might be going. So a quick way where I can get to those different things that I want to talk about at those different meetings. Okay, heading back to our horizons of focus. Again, with these pins at the top here, these allow me to get to different areas of the brain extremely quickly. So I can get to my horizons of focus as quickly as I want. I can see all my strategic next actions. So these are the 3 next actions for the 3 projects that I had there, all pulled into one area so I can see them all. Okay, these pins can be made up of a collection of thoughts, thought types, or tags. So you might notice here I've got ones that relate to today, this week, and as we just came from, my strategic next actions. And I've also got one here to get me back quickly to my inbox, where I can quickly capture thoughts or information regarding anything else that may be coming in that I want to capture while I'm on the go. Okay, so if we just head back to our horizons of focus, getting into our current projects again, and if we look at the develop new product pipeline for the next 2 years into our actions, and let's just say this week we've done our brainstorming, so we've completed that action. We can take the tag off, and that project now is not active anymore. It is in fact completed project. I can then link this through to the month I've completed it, and actually unlink it from the 10,000 foot current projects. So what that allows me to do then is first of all keep current the current projects list, as well as see by month when I've had things completed. And you'll actually see I've got one back in there as well for the month prior. So as you're working through the year at either quarterly, half yearly or end of year reviews, it's good to be able to flick back through these months and see what projects are actually completed. Now, also another thing which I do typically, excuse me, with these projects and the way they're thought typed is that if something is actually a bit of a hot topic, you may have noticed the pin I've got up here, which is in fact a thought type. This team building workshop, given that we're only 2 months out from the end of the year, I want to mark this up as a hot topic. So visually that just gives me a bit of an eye catcher to the projects that are perhaps more at front of mind or more a priority than the others. So this would allow me to quickly get to and filter out just my hot topic projects. So that's handy. A good differentiator there is to have a thought type around that. Okay, so let's go back to our horizons of focus and just have a quick look at the general reference filing system. So again, A to Z alphabetical thoughts, and this is where I might come into link information that might not be necessarily relevant to a particular active project or be part of a project at all, but it could be some information that's come across my desk. Could be an email, could be a phone call talking about a particular topic, for example, or just some information that I want to have referenced, like you would in a physical filing cabinet, for example, that I can then put under a particular area. So that's where I tend to file those sorts of things. So for example, if we go into here and let's just say at work we have a lot of information regarding our ERP systems. I could have that under here, and then below this I could have information on ERP procedures. I could have information on ERP logins, for example, and you can see how that could then become a collection of information related to that topic. Again, for example, if you were using this as a personal system at home, separate to work, for example, keeping track of the information around car registrations and things like that, it's very easy to start to have a structure of reference information that may not necessarily be related to projects. So that could be car 1, car 2. Okay, that's the general reference filing, and back to our horizons of focus. Okay, so what helps to pull all this together as a great system is this search box here, which I mentioned earlier in the piece, just down to the left. And so, for example, someone comes up to me and wants to know some information about that marketing campaign that we'd completed earlier on. So if I want to go to that, I can look up marketing campaign and we see it there. I can quickly get through to that completed project. That was done back in August, and here's all the particular data that might be associated with it, all the emails around that, and then some of the things we learned out of the back of that campaign. So that helps me get back there. For example, I want to get through to my ERP information. I want to get to my logins. Here I am at my ERP logins. Or again, third example, back at home, want to look at the car registrations. Quickly get up there, and here's the information around my particular car registrations. So that search box there is the main way to navigate through and look for information in the brain that you obviously don't have in front of you in the Plex at that particular point in time. That pretty much wraps up what I wanted to give you as a bit of an overview of how I use the TheBrain software from my GTD trusted system and the structure I have within it. I hope you've enjoyed that and taken some information and some tips out of that, and can look to improve and help the way you might use TheBrain for your GTD system. So thanks for watching, and if you have any feedback or questions, please send them through.